hello and welcome to this week's vlog. Hope you've all had a great week. I have some news, and that is that the page proofs for Anna Browne have now all been checked and that's all been sent off, which means that actually all my work on the actual story of Anna Browne is done. And this is always a really weird time for me as a writer, because it's that point where you go, I don't think I can do any more to it, and that's it, and you've got to let it go off into the big wide world. And it's exciting, but at the same time slightly nerve-wracking, because you're thinking, right, any typos I've missed now, they're in there. But one thing that was really nice actually this year is that with my new publisher I got offered the opportunity to have it not just as a PDF, which is what I normally have, a PDF of the actual pages, so it kind of looks sort of similar to an ebook. You can see what the pages are actually going to look like. But they also gave me the option to have it printed as well. Now I haven't done printed page proofs, I don't think, ever. Some of my previous edits on the very first couple of novels that I did, I had copy edits through on actually printed out. But yeah, so I have 512 sheets of A4 paper delivered in a big wad. It was, do you know, what was really lovely was actually reading my book. It felt like I was reading my book. It's something that I've noticed actually. It's the reason why I tend to prefer paperback books to Kindles, because I'm so used to working on a screen and sort of for my job, that when it actually gets to sitting down and actually taking it in and absorbing myself into the story and all of that stuff, I can do that a lot better on paper, because I read for fun on paper rather than on screens. I don't skip so much. So it's actually really nice to sit down and read my book, which seems a crazy thing to say when you're a writer, but by the time you've gone through all the different edits that you have to do, you very rarely actually sit down and read it, so that was really good. So what's happening now? Well, I've seen a cover and it's almost there. There's couple more tweaks that my editor wants to do, but oh, you're gonna love it. And it's, yeah, I can't go into why I love it without giving anything away, but it's lovely. It's really special. The book itself is going to look really special, and I'm going to shut up because otherwise I'll say too much, but it's lovely. As soon as we have a finalised cover, of course I will show you. We'll do the big reveal. I know that many of you have said lovely things and you've seen it on Waterstones and Amazon and you've gone down there, and obviously there's no cover at the moment, but as soon as we have a cover it'll be on there. Now I have two questions this week. Firstly from the lovely Anna Mansell on Twitter. Hi Anna, how you doing? Anna asked a really good question actually. She says, how do you identify a good match for a full manuscript critique that's paid but constructively critical? I get asked about this quite a lot. It's not something that I do, but quite a few authors actually offer a manuscript critiquing service, which is easy for me today. And I asked around actually, because I thought I don't know the answer to this question because I've never used one personally, and I do know I've heard horror stories of people, you know, approaching people for critiques and it's all gone horribly wrong. I think my best advice would be ask other writers who've used them, who found them helpful, to recommend the people that they found helpful. There are some services that seem to just, they send back a critique and you reapply your manuscript, and then when they send it back they've got more things that they want you to change. But I've heard a couple that are really good, and what I'll do, Anna, is I'll actually contact you and give you the names of the people that I was recommended. I don't know that I can recommend them myself because I've never used them, but I have it on really good authority that they're great, so I will get in contact with you to answer that question fully. But what I would say is, for anything like that, particularly if you're looking at self-publishing a book and you're looking at somebody to do a critique or someone to do it, a copy editor, I would always say, if you're self-publishing, get an external copy editor to do that for you. The same as if you're looking for book covers as well. I think, you know, ask around and find out who other people have used and ask for recommendations. That's the best way of doing it, because I wouldn't go with someone that's just in, you know, in the back of a writing magazine if you've never heard of them. I would personally, you know, it's a lot of money to spend if you're not going to get something out of it. So I hope that answers your question, and I'll contact you privately and give you the names that I have had recommended to me by authors that I really trust. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much. And my next question is from Katie, who's at Katie Not Wed or Dead, which is just, I think you have the best Twitter name on Twitter, to be fair. And you've sent me a lot of questions, so I have this question this week and I'll have some more for you next week. So the question this week is, how do you prepare your head for writing the next book? Do you find it difficult to move on from characters and the plot of the previous book? You'd think that you would, especially if you've been spending, you know, I mean, it's around about 7 months really from start to finish, from starting to write the first draft of my book to when it actually gets sent off, like, you know, I get to the end of the page proof stage, as I have done with Anna Browne. So it's a good chunk of your year that's spent thinking about those characters, but I'm the kind of writer that always has other ideas twinkling away, and they tend to twinkle brighter as the edits get harder. As I'm not a fan of editing, and those of you who've watched my vlog for a long time will know this. So for me, actually, I don't find it difficult. I look forward to getting back to just writing. And I've said this a lot of times before, but the first draft is always my favourite time, because I get to kind of make up the story and meet new characters, and I kind of love that bit, so I relish that bit. The only problem that I do have is that I always have too many ideas, and it's sort of nailing one down that says, okay, that's the next book. In terms of the next book, what I hope will be the next book for Pam Macmillan, the idea I have is really strong, and it came up probably about 5 or 6 months ago, and I talked about it I have some really lovely writer friends, and I talked about it with them, and they really liked it and I really liked it, and the more I thought about it, the better it got. And so I've written the first 3 chapters, my agent's read them now, and she said, carry on writing, I want to read it, which is always a good sign. So yeah, I don't have that problem, and I always try and write something a little bit different. So you'll notice if you read my books in the order that they're written, well, you don't have to, but if you follow that order, there's always something different. I might write one in third person and the next one in first person. I might have different devices in there, so I might have letters in one and emails in another, and different points of view. For example, with Anna Browne, you have these kind of little vignettes all the way through that are from somebody else's point of view looking at Anna. So you get insights into other characters' lives. So it's not the same as I'll Take New York, where you have a chapter from the guy's point of view and a chapter from the girl's point of view. And this is kind of all the people that are in Anna's life. They get their own little kind of almost piece to camera. And again, that's very different from what I've written before. So I try and do something that's a bit different, and I think that keeps my interest. So I hope that answers your question. I don't get mixed up very often. The only thing that I do find sometimes is that I end up coming back to the same surnames for characters, which is a really odd thing. I keep, what was it in this one? Hennessy turned up a lot, and I don't know why. They were incidental characters, not the main characters. But it was only when I did the proof edit, pardon me, that I thought, oh gosh, hang a minute, I've already had one of those. And of course there is always an Eric. If you've been watching my vlogs for a long time, you'll know why there's always an Eric. It's always just something you can look for in my book, is an Eric. So I have fun hiding them. But yeah, so I don't really have that problem with it. So that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope the questions were good. But what would you like to know? All you need to do is get in contact with me, let me know your question. You can put a comment underneath this vlog. You can email me, mirandawordy@gmail.com. You can tweet me at wordsmith, or you can leave me a message on my Facebook author page, which is Miranda Dickinson Author. You can leave a comment on my actual YouTube page, and of course you can subscribe to these vlogs, which means that you get first notification as soon as they pop up. You'll be told when they're coming. So get your questions in, let me know what you'd like to know, and I'll see you soon. Bye.